When it comes to actually creating content for your marketing campaigns, there are a number of different options for you to choose from. So, I want to take a little bit of time to go over what I think the absolute best options are. I'm going to start with Adobe Express. Adobe has long time been known as one of the top companies for producing graphic design software, and we're going to talk about some of their other products in a second. But Adobe Express, which you can find at adobe.com/express, is one of their newest products. It's free and it allows you to create graphics, videos, slideshows, pretty much any format of graphic that you'd like. So, for people who are new to creating their own marketing material, I would definitely start with Adobe Express. It's created a lot of buzz in the industry. And like I mentioned, Adobe is a very well known company. So, I expect to see this product stay at the top of this list for some time to come. Moving on, we're going to talk about some of the big boys. So we're talking about Adobe Creative Suite. And right now, I'm at adobe.com/products/catalog. And I'm just looking at a list of the different Adobe products because they have so many great solutions. So within Adobe Creative Suite, we have at the top right Photoshop, which you can use for editing photos. You can also do mobile design and design websites. You've probably all heard of Photoshop. It's notorious, right, for editing images and making them look better. So that's definitely a first option for your basic type of graphic design work. Notice that below Photoshop and to the left, we have Premiere Pro, which is Adobe's video editing software. It is one of the industry standards. In the middle of the screen, we have Adobe Illustrator, which is great for creating vector art and illustrations. And then if we scroll down a little bit here, there are quite a few others. Adobe Express is great for editing photos. And then, of course, we have InDesign, which is great for designing layouts for magazines and newsletters and that sort of thing. So you have a ton of different options here in Adobe Creative Suite. Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, and Premiere are all industry standard applications, and you can't go wrong by choosing one of these solutions. The only problem is that you do need to pay for these programs, and you need to know how to use them. Some of them can have a bit of a learning curve, so they're best suited for graphic designers and people who have an education and background in using these tools. Obviously, one of the easiest ones to use is going to be either Adobe Express or maybe Photoshop. Moving on the same note as Adobe Premiere, when we talk about video editing, one of the other top solutions other than Premiere is Final Cut Pro. This application has a very high learning curve. It's best for people who know how to edit videos, but again, I'm trying to show you the absolute best tools, so this list would be amiss if it did not include Final Cut Pro. It's one of the top video editors in the world. Okay, so now we're going to move over to one of my personal favorites, and that is GIMP, which stands for GNU Image Manipulation Program. This is a free open source tool that is essentially Photoshop. It's not quite as user friendly as Photoshop, and especially if you've been using Photoshop for a long time and you first move over to GIMP, you're going to have to take a little bit of time to learn where all of the features are located and a few different ways of doing things. But there actually is a Photoshop extension that you can download and install, and it will make GIMP look as close to Photoshop as possible. That's how I use GIMP. I don't use Photoshop, I use GIMP instead of it. It's an absolutely free program. Windows are mapped. You can do anything in GIMP that you can do in Photoshop. I've been using this product for years, and it's one of the first applications that I install on any new computer. So definitely check out GIMP for your Photoshop needs. Moving on, we also have Canva, and Canva is a great tool for creating graphics like infographics, things to post on social media, memes. It has a really nice, easy to learn user interface, and it's great for marketing, and you do all of your design online. You can download a desktop version, but you honestly don't need to, so that's definitely a benefit as well. It's really kind of taken the design industry by storm in terms of products that are out there. They're easy to use, much easier to use than, say, Photoshop. You can just get into Canva. It has a lot of templates. It has a lot of stock images that you can just upload right into your graphics, and so you can do everything right from within Canva. Definitely a great tool to check out if you haven't yet. Now, if you're looking to edit photos and pictures that you've taken, you might want to think about using Pixlr Editor. You can see I'm here at pixlr.com, and it's a great free tool just for editing photos. You can change all of the saturation, the contrast, you can crop images, all of that kind of stuff that you would do using Photoshop or GIMP, but it's a little more user-friendly for photos. So it's great for quick edits on the go. Again, another great option. The last tool that I want to mention is a video editing software and screen recording software called ScreenFlow. It's made by a company called Telestream, so you can see I'm at telestream.net/ScreenFlow, And I've actually added ScreenFlow to this video because if you do a bunch of searches on the internet for video editing software, you're not going to find it. But it's what I use. It's what I like best. I actually have Final Cut Pro and I've gone in and I've used it, but ScreenFlow to me is 10 times easier to use and just almost nearly as powerful. So I'm actually going to open up ScreenFlow just so you can see what it looks like. So you can record your computer's screen, you can record external audio devices, and then when you're done, it brings you right in here into this video editing software where you can edit all your videos, you can add transitions, you can add titles, all sorts of things, everything you'd be able to do in Final Cut Pro. It is all in here, and I absolutely love this program, so I had to mention it in this video. It is the most valuable tool that I personally use for content creation day in and day out, so I wanted to share it with you as well. I would say that out of all of these platforms that I've talked about, the two easiest to use are Canva and Pixlr. Then you've got products like Photoshop, GIMP, Premiere, and then you can get up to Final Cut Pro, which is probably the most difficult to use, but it's also probably the most powerful. So these are your top options when it comes to creating content for your online marketing campaigns. In this video, I'm going to discuss some of the top platforms for content curation. Content curation is one of my favorite forms of marketing. I spoke about managing your ROI earlier on in the course, and I feel that content curation, as long as you're giving credit where credit is due, keeps your costs low and gets a good return on your time. You can provide value to your customers and potential customers without actually creating anything of your own. Content curation is a great way to save time and money, and it's also great for building trust. To me, that's what content curation is all about. Building trust, showing users that you care about them enough to find the most valuable information and then to share it with them. So let's talk about some of the top content curation tools that you can use for marketing. Scoop.it is one of your top content curation options. It's really easy to embed Scoop.it lists on your website. So a few of these tools are good for finding content, for saving it, and then Scoop.it is good for delivering it. It's probably one of the most popular tools used for delivering curated content. So if you're looking to embed some curated content on a website or blog, Scoop.it is a great solution. The next one that I want to talk about is Feedly. Feedly is one of the most popular RSS and blog readers in the world. In other words, you can subscribe to a particular blog that you find interesting, and then you'll get notified when they publish a new post. So this is a great way to subscribe to certain blogs, and then when they publish new content, you can decide whether or not you want to curate it. You could then add it to your Scoop.it feed on your website. So again, Feedly is also a must because it is so great for content discovery. With Feedly, you gain access to a ton of information, but it helps you organize that information so you don't feel like you're really getting an information overload. The next one that I want to talk about is Pocket. You can see that I'm here on the website at getpocket.com, and Pocket is great for saving content that you find to then post later on. It's kind of similar to Evernote, but it's geared more towards content curation. With Pocket, you can save things from pretty much anywhere. You can even save videos, you can save articles, you can even go into apps on your phone and then save information in the app into the Pocket app to use later on. So you might find something using Feedly, then save it using Pocket, and then of course you can use Scoop.it to embed it in your website. So again, Pocket is just a great tool for saving all of those useful posts that you find on the internet. Okay, now I'm going to talk briefly about Pinterest. Pinterest is a great tool for curating visual content. It's actually more known as a social network, I suppose, but when it comes down to it, Pinterest is all about curating really cool graphics and photos. So if you have an organization that deals a lot with imagery, then it's definitely a good idea to get on Pinterest. You can start uploading your own content, but don't forget to curate other content as well. It really helps you become part of the community, and it helps start building that trust that we've been talking about. Okay, so now let's talk about Scribbly.io. The name of this product has changed a few times in the past. Originally, it was known as Trap.it, then it was known as Scribble, and now it's Scribbly.io. But regardless, it is a great content curation tool, and it's not just that, it's actually a full-fledged solution for marketers. I thought it was important to mention here, though, because Scribbly got its start from content curation, and you can still do curation with Scribbly. However, it's better used as a full-fledged content marketing solution. You can actually hire a team of individuals with this platform, and they'll help you create high-quality content for you to market with. As you can see, Scribbly says that you can tell them your goals and they'll create the content for you and come up with a marketing plan. So, this solution is probably better for larger sized organizations due to the cost and just the scale of it, but it's definitely worth a mention because it is such a big player in the curation industry and it's actually moved beyond that now, but it's still a great option for marketers. The last one that I want to mention is Pearl Trees. Pearl Trees is kind of like Scoop.it. You can organize all of your posts that you've found and then you can actually embed them on your website. I actually like the design of Pearl Trees a little bit better than Scoop.it. It's not quite as popular, but to me, it just has a higher quality visual effect. So if you've tried Scoop.it and you're finding that it's just not working for you, then I think that the next best option for embedding content on your website would be Pearl Trees. So you've got Feedly to find all your content. You've got Pocket and Pinterest to save it. And then you've got Pearl Trees and Scoop.it to present it to the end users. Again, don't forget how much value you can get out of content curation. Just remember to give the credit where credit is due, and hopefully you'll increase the rapport that you have with your customers and potential customers.